everyone, and welcome to Real Unstructured, where we bring you inspirational spotlights to keep you radical, empowered, authentic, and living in the Word. I am your host, Narissa, and this is a platform specifically designed for millennials to showcase their God-given gifts and talents with the world, who have used unstructured, unconventional, and unapologetic means to pursue their dreams. So today's guest is none other than CJ Watkins. Welcome, CJ. Good. How are you? Thank you for joining, man.
No problem. Anytime.
Yeah. So for the viewers that don't know you, you attend the Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. So tell the viewers about your major and what you're currently studying.
So I'm currently a music major. Well, at first, let me tell the real story. Uh, at first, I was a computer science major, and then I was kind of doing music as a minor. But then, my grandmother and my dad, they was kind of telling me, do you really want to go down that route? And then they just kept like going back and forth with me. So I'm like, you know what? So like at the second semester of my freshman year, I had switched majors from computer science to music, and then I'm a music composition major. So basically, its emphasis is writing, basically coming up with music scores and all that type of stuff. So that
Okay.
is my concentration. It's my senior year.
Senior year.
Time, time,
Hey.
time go by fast. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing at Morehouse right now.
It does go by fast. Goodness. Well, okay. So your major now being music. How did music become a passion of yours? How did you get involved into music?
It was just kind of in me, if that makes sense. My dad was telling me all the time, he never wanted his kids to pursue, what he did because he felt like that, like he forced us to, but it was just kind of something that was just in me. And so, ever since, I just had it. So, when it just came to, with music and stuff, I just fell in love with it. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, it's definitely a passion of mine. I don't take it lightly. I don't take it for granted. It's something that I do every day. It's
Mhm.
something that I care about a lot. It's something that strives me to do better every single day. This world would be nothing without music, and I say that with sincerity. If you take music away from the world would not be, what it is today. So that's my answer to that. And basically, like how I got involved with music. So technically, I'm fourth generation musically in my
Wow.
family on the father's side.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it started with my great grandmother. She did poems, and she was a piano teacher. It was my great grandmother. She did that, and then it's my grandmother who's a piano teacher. She's minister music, and then with my dad, songwriter, artist, and then it came down to me,
Hmm.
and I just did drums at first, but like now I play keys, I produce, I MD, so it just kind of like opens a variety of stuff. So that's how I kind of got involved with music.
Yeah.
So if I didn't have music now, I'll be okay with it, but that's kind of like who I am and what I do.
Yeah, you wouldn't be okay with it, man. Don't even lie to people. You wouldn't be okay. It's
Right,
in you. That's what you got to do. So wait a
right.
minute. You're playing keys now. You're producing, getting into producing, but you started off as a drummer. So which one do you like better? Playing drums and doing beats, or music on the
Um,
piano side.
I would say that musically, just coming up with ideas. I like to play keys, especially like in front of like atmosphere churches because you can dictate. But um, I just been always playing drums my whole life, so drums is just that's just kind of like
I
what I just
got
been doing. So
you.
drums is where it's at. So
Okay. Okay. So for the viewers, you did talk a little bit about your dad. So for the viewers that don't know, your dad, Chris Watkins, is really a celebrity in his own right and has worked with so many artists and has made a lot of gospel music that we all listen to and love. So what was that like growing up, being around so many artists and playing for them at such a young age?
it was very challenging. It was very challenging to the point where my dad kind of had to do his nitty gritties like, yo, I got a kid, I got my son that can play, and I appreciate all the artists, I have got A lot of opportunities to play for artists like Donald Lawrence, Ricky Dillard, Karen Clark Sheard, and Benita Jones, and the list just keeps going. I can name, but I'm not going to go down that name all my accomplishments. And that's not in the boastful way. That's just me. That's just
Yeah, absolutely.
No, just for him to, have belief, in me at a young age, that's how I was kind of like trained. So, you know, because a lot of people my age, don't have that opportunity. People are still trying to, so anytime I get a time to play for artists like that, I don't take it lightly for granted. I do it, to the best of my ability and the best that I can.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad, he has worked so hard to get to the level that he can, from how many songs he has written and who the artists he has worked with as well.
Mm-hmm.
He just has done an amazing job from where he is, and he still continues to do. It's not stopped. It's still going. People just think it's just a certain age and it's a certain period of time where people just do these things. No, it's still, still going. So I definitely appreciate him for that.
Absolutely. So, do you have future aspirations with your music to take it further than where you have now? Like you just said, you're getting into producing and now playing keys, but do you want to play for a particular artist, your dream artist?
As a musician, as musicians, especially like touring musicians, that's always the goal. Church will always be church for me, but I kind of want to be one of those people that can do it, that can play in different, areas,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to be known as CJ, the church musician. I want to be,
Yeah.
CJ, as the, well-rounded, musician. So it is definitely future aspirations, but I do want to tell people all the time, always have a backup plan, because backup plans is always good to have, because you just never know what life may take you, because even the world that we live in today,
Yeah.
that's the world we live in. So
COVID. Just
yeah,
jacked up. Just
yeah,
jacked up everything. So, what advice would you give to anybody who may be trying to get into the industry? Like you said, you had a dad that got you into the industry. You're fourth generation, so he said, "Hey," basically put you on the docket to say, "I got a son that can play." So, what advice would you give to somebody else who's trying to do what you're doing? Because right now, what you're playing for William Murphy's church, is that correct?
yeah. I be feeling in there sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and I be playing for a couple of artists down here, Nigel. Lassiter, Jasmine Walter. Jasmine, she sings with James Fortune. She sings background for James Fortune and a couple other people. But pretty much the main thing, just continue to strive and work. I think that'd be the main thing. I'm a work person, so like I work. So
Mm-hmm.
people always tell me, CJ, why you don't answer the phone? CJ, why you don't talk to nobody? Why you don't do this? Why I don't do that? It's because what I do, it takes so much time and it requires a lot
Mm-hmm.
that everything that I do, I would put my heart, into it. So that's what it requires. So whatever you do, do it to the best of your ability. That's what I would say. What you can do is what you can do. Don't ever try to outdo somebody else, because their plan might not be your plan, and your plan might not be their plan. So that's pretty much
Absolutely.
it.
That's good. That's really good. And I like what you said. I mean, stay grinding. Stay
Yeah.
grinding. You ain't got time for everything else. You got to stay focused, stay disciplined, stay on your grind. I like that, CJ. I like that. So lastly, if anybody wanted to contact you to either follow you or reach out to say, hey, I need a drummer, I need a producer, how can people contact you?
So about that, I don't do well with social media at all, but I am on Instagram. Y'all can follow me at CJ Drum Pro. That's just 3 words.
Mhm.
And then I tell people all the time, follow my father's Facebook, because my father's always posting stuff. So that's pretty much how people come in contact with me. But I pretty much stay out of the social media world. I'm trying to do better now. I'm being honest. I'm doing better now, but social media is just kind of not a thing for
Look,
me.
I'm with you, CJ. I just now got social media because I started a company. Like,
Um,
that's the only reason why I'm on there. Otherwise, Narissa would not be on there at all.
Yeah, so, but worst case scenario, just find my dad, and my dad would call me and be like, "Hey, I need a favor." And,
Now, what's your dad's handle then? You got to say it since you said it.
I think his Facebook is Christopher Watkins. I don't have a Facebook, so I'm just.
It's all right.
If
We'll find him. We'll find
if you see a dark skinned man that looks somewhat like me, yeah,
him.
Yeah, him with glasses. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
That is funny. Well, we'll make sure we find them, put it on the screen for everybody to see. I appreciate you, CJ, for joining today. Thank you so much for being our guest.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you, CJ, for joining us today. And now it is time for our Rebel Faith moment. CJ talked about how he is a worker. He is really always on his grind, which is why he can't answer the phone and doesn't really like to hang out and go a whole lot of different places because he's a worker. He wants to stay on his grind, stay focused, doing what he loves to do. And then not only that, but I love the fact that his dad was giving him the opportunities that he needed in order to make sure that he had the opportunities and the doors open to share his gifts and to be able to get the experience that he needed. And so our Rebel Faith moment today comes from Thessalonians 5:11, which really talks about how we need to build each other up, which I believe is what his dad was doing for him so that it prepared him for the work that was ahead. Thessalonians 5:11 says, therefore, exhort one another and build each other up, even as you also do. It's really talking about comfort, providing comfort and exhorting, because Paul was really counseling the people who had some concerns about their family members' welfare and their well-being and what would happen to their fate. That is what Paul was encouraging them and giving them comfort during that time. But I believe this text can also provide us the encouragement and the comfort that we need today, especially in the world that we're living in, that you can still find means to be able to not only support somebody and to open up doors for somebody who may need it, but we can also speak life and affirm somebody else's gifts. I believe that believers need to engage in ongoing process of building each other up and encouraging each other, sharing in their joys and sorrows, offering blessings of various kinds. And so maybe it's an open door that you have to be able to let somebody in. Maybe it's an open door that you can provide a safe havens for somebody else, or simply be a listening ear. Whatever it is, we have the opportunity to be able to share in each other's joys and sorrows. We should be able to do that for one another. We need to be more vocal in our support. We need to also be sure to not hide our light under a basket. We can't hide under a bushel, but to put it on a stand for all that can see it. Matthew 5:16 says, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. So take the words from Matthew 5:16 and 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Why don't you share some joy with someone else? Open up a door for someone else and then get on your grind. Get on your grind to do what the Lord is calling you to do. God bless you.